puti ng balat. Kaya naman ang white rose papaya, clinically proven magpaputi in as early as 7 days. With regular use, papaya puti, papaya fast. Yan ang white rose papaya.
Hoy, Tita Le!
Ay, Tita Feng!
O, pagka nagkita-kita, baka di daw anay, baka di anay.
Tita Feng, kumusta ka na? Ano nga ni, nagkakalisang ka man?
Agiday, pamatiin natin kada Domingo.
Ano?
Alauna, kutob alas 3 itong kulop. May na programa nga.
Nga ano? Ginbibitin mo man ako?
Oh,
Ano tiya?
Kuan.
Ice cream?
Hagi, diri kan. Diri itong ice cream, kuan itong tay. Ito nga programa. Halo-halo espesyal ni Kuya El.
Ay, wabo ba ito niya?
Ambot day, kanawang daw itong tinakon lolo nga dangas. Pero oo, marisyo itong iya programa day.
Sure ka? Kaya ano nga Mauricio, sige daw, pamatian naton?
Oh, tana, upo di akon.
Let's go!
Tana.
Halo-halo, espesyal ni Kuya El. Pwede magpa-shoutout ngam pwede liwat mag-requestin kanta o musika. Pwede liwat an karuyag sumika makantahin live agud mabatian an iya boses hakanginan. Pwede liwat mag-share iton iya love life pagparisyo la basta makakapalipay hanaton mga listeners. Halo-halo, espesyal ni Kuya El.
Kayo ay nakikinig sa tunog ng bayan. Aksyon Radyo 819. Ang tunog ng bayan, ang nangunguna sa balita. Balitang pinakamalakas, pinakamaaasahan, pinagkakatiwalaan. Isyo at komentaryo, musika at show. Sa dramas at sa serbisyo publiko, Aksyon Radyo, ang tunog ng bayan, ang nangunguna. Ang tunog ng bayan, Aksyon Radyo 819, ang nangunguna. Ang tunog ng bayan, kaya't sama-sama tayo sa Aksyon Radyo. Number 1 AM station sa Eastern Visayas.
Tabian ay sangkay. Oras nahan, Hiruhimangraw la. Kaupayan, ngan karatan, karayganhan hitabo, paghihingadayan.
Declare unto five John Paul II
Ano man hindi iton, baga maupay naman laliwat iton nakadaha masterless nga waray hiya
Likely there, it almost looks like a tsunami that is
It is great to be here at Fort Pascal, but I'm here in the Philippines to
Mark Xavier Yales, Journalist Doctor niya pag-graduate at
Unfortunately, that most of those who did not attend the meeting are the ones that are complaining.
Ay man nga napitan nasod o kalibutan pa man. Diri kita malulusutan. Aton pag-iistoryahan. Hulit kayo ni Sangkay. Dinhila, ang aton taramdan, Hiruhimangraw la. Nganya na, an iyo, program host.
Mawing kulop, kasangkayang kumusta? It's a Saturday, ika-9 na kita habulan nito na Agosto, Hiruhimangraw la, itong taramdan nga aton pagsasaruan niya ng mga oras, didahinin niya na nga aton kakurulpon. Upo dito naton mga katugbang ha engineering ako Louis Quebec, ngan adi naton naman tagan hinhigayon ining mga dagko nga mga istoryahon. Waray na siguro makakalupig pa. Himbaga pagsiring nga gidadakuing nga istorya, ini nga pagtaga impeachment. So man, hain kahinin niya na nga baga himangrawon na hipupwesto. No? I just hope that parehas iton kadamaan ha aton. Of course, Damo ang gihapon itat mga eksperto. Pero ordinarily kita ba, nga bagawaray good sugadini nga acumen hinin pan intindidayon it mga technicalities pareho hini nga istorya. We hope nga iton nahihigawas nga baga mga pahayag, mga pananaw in aton sering paman napupulsan hin eksakto nga baga magigiyahan kita kung ano bagud man ba iniya nga klase hin proseso ini nga sinisiring nga impeachment. Iton impeachment trial nagkamay ada hindako nga hulagway nga dahini kay for the first time masisiring nga an husgado an Korte Suprema inindiri ultimo nga pag attender ani ginhatag nga dayon sugad dinhi nga proseso tandingan nakalabay nga mga pareho nga mga proceedings kay naglatag pipira iton dida nga ira igin partikular nga kinahanglan amo iniit matatabo otherwise parehas iton ira igin desisyon unconstitutional iton ipapahamtang nga mga proseso impeachment nga complaint no. I do not know kung baga sering pa man masumuna para iyo it pag pinamati hini aton man la nga kita and then mas nga makakakuha kita han mga pananaw han mga afterthought hini nga hitabo mas better for us nga kumita hit karaygan. Sering pa man an aton na nga makit-an an sistema an proseso sans the personalities behind all these things. Although diri gihap iton makukuha dinim masaseparate especially nga may pipira kita nga mga natuinan nga aada itutok hini nga klase ni istorya no diri aadto hiton mga unod diri aadto hadton na sering pa mang good ba an angay di dahito nga inin kabutangan kay balita o sering kakulupan na akon na reaksyon nga nakarawat kay akon didigin na bibiling na sering an reaction. The Supreme Court, in effect, declared that compliance to form is a higher need than public interest to hold our highest officials accountable for their actions. Diba? Taod kala kunbaga, diri man masisiring nga talaga dispalinghado ang pagsalawad han proseso pinamarigunan. So kumbaga may ada manggod didahini technicality siring paman ito hiya ang gintagan ng bugat kontrahan aada nga kamatuuran nga angay ininhiya isayod labi na iton hiya nga nagdadabi hiton aton sistema at gobyerno paggamit hit mga programa pundo hiton gobyerno iton kapas hit aton mga opisyales nga mananagkapot hini nga mga functions no so amo iton sering paman hini nga of course iyeto pananaw pero moran may unod hini kay aada ang gidadako ito nga kabutangan nga it could have been more easier kung ginklaro na la ini nga tanan. Pero like sugarit aton ginsisiring din niya it usa nga igin kikiha, it usa nga igin rereklamo, it usa nga ginaakusaran will do everything within the bounds of law. Sometimes it iba nga ni outside the law, extra legal kay base diri hiya umatubang didahini nga mga keha no. So, normal la ini, nga tanan nga pwede kadtuan. Pero, anaton lahat kinikita ini dinhis na sana mas naintindihan naton inihiya nga mga proseso so much so that sometime soon, makagiyagihap inihiya aton pagabot hiton na panahon. So, sige, gimpanhikay naton ini nga baga mga pahayag para usa ka lingkod iyo inihiya baga hibabatian ngan makagtirotimbang. Waray na iba nga angay naton taganin dako nga pagbugat hini nga istorya kundi an aton Senate President Chis Cordero kay after all kumbaga sering pamanan iba hiya ini ang nag-architect paunan o inihiya nga klasihin proceedings didi ha Senado sumugad hini ang kabutangan of course outside han naging desisyon han Korte Suprema. That's why we also have iba pa nga mga otoridad on the matter adi adton na pagyakan ni former Associate Justice Adolf Ascuna sugad man kan former Chief Justice Renato Puno on all these things in toto aton nagin share an aton ginkuha nga clip han interview kan Karen Davila ngan kan Pinky Webb. Sige, munit kadak-an hita naton na pagkahampang yan nga kulop dinhi hita naton na Hiruhimangraw la. So Stay put. Tagila kami itong chance nga ma-share ha iyo. Inin nga mga pananaw, kay para liwat naton masukol, para liwat naton masantupan, diin ba ininhira, gumikan, diin hira na hugot, di dahito nga kabutangan. No? Waray ko nala kuha adto nga baga mga active exchange, di dahang butosay. Kay saring paman, ada inin resulta na, kinuha naton, saring pan afterthought, di dahini nga mga hitabo. Although, sometimes, someday soon, naton liwat iton hiya, kukuhaon kay para iton tama liwat nga pananaw, di dahito nga particular nga exercise. In the meantime, adi iton pagdig-on hito naton Senate President Chis Escudero, di dahini na nga mga iginlalabay nga mga akusasyon, and of course, upod adton iya baga dig-on nga diri mapalipat iton katawhan, ha? Pagbalik naton, di dahini nga aton Hiruhimangraw. Oras 5:09.
This time check is brought to you by ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified, maker of world-class quality Pride detergent.
Basta tinuod ang relief, tinuod ang relax. Aksyon FR.
Champion detergent para less time sa labada, more time sa pamilya.
Myracoff. Sa Myracoff, lalabnawang madikit na plema. Afford pa.
Champion detergent para less time sa labada, more time sa pamilya.
Radyo! Makikanta sa next song natin. Hatid ng Champion Detergent. Sa Champion with Quick Wash Technology, less time sa labada, #mamadaming time na sa pamilya.
Mamadaming time sa lahat ng gusto nyo. Mamadaming time. Champion Detergent ang gamit ko. Champion na! Playtime with bunso kasi may champion na. Present lagi sa school pag champion sa laba. Gumimik with ate dahil may champion na. Lambingan with hubby, champion ako dyan. Kung gustong mag-shopping, dapat mag-champion ka. Mag-movie marathon, mabilis lang maglaba. Kung gusto nyong mag-swimming, tara mag-champion na. Lahat ng gusto nyo, mamadaming time. Champion na! Tanggal mancha sa damit ni tatay, t-shirt ni kuya, mabango na rin. May quick wash technology ang champion. Family bonding ng priority ko. Salamat sa champion! Champion na! Mamadaming time sa lahat ng gusto nyo. Mamadaming time. Champion detergent ang gamit ko. Champion na!
Araw-araw, MX3 para extraordinary. With alpha, beta, gamma na sangkap nito. Tunay, original at natural na suplemento. With MX3, so coffee and tea. With MX3, it's for you and me. With MX3, dito ako believe.
Hello, I'm Cheryl Cosim, news anchor and TV host. Sa MX3 Capsule, dito ako bilib.
Mahalagang paalala, ang MX3 capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Sa panahon ngayon, kau ba'y sigurado? Kau ba'y protektado? Ang pamilya ay i-shield mo. Laban sa bakterya, i-shield mo. Laban ng pati virus, i-shield mo.
Shield Bat Soap. Patay ang 99% ang bacteria and virus tested. Believe ang mga eksperto sa Philippine Nurses Association.
Sa sakit protektado, i-shield mo. Pamilya protektado, i-shield mo.
Shield Bat Soap, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified, world-class quality.
Para di madaling masira ang ngipin ng pamilya, ngayon pa lang,
Unique toothpaste for brushing every after kumain.
dahil ang unique toothpaste may Max Protect formula.
Ngipin ay Max Alaga, Max Protektado pa.
Helps stop cavities even before they start, while keeping breath fresh with regular use.
Unique toothpaste for brushing para siguraduhin ngipin ay Max Alaga, Max Protektado pa. Unique
Max Alaga, Max Protectado with unique toothpaste maximum fluoride protection. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing. ISO certified, world-class quality.
ACS.
Di kang #1 smart dishwashing paste.
Tanggaling-galing mo! Smart dishwashing paste ko! Pritong ulam na masebo, plato o kaldero. Tanggaling
Amo ito kon smart and dishwashing paste. May double tanggaling formula. Tanggal galing ang sebo ngan bakterya.
Bahid para walang bahid, linis fantastic sa metal at plastic. Number 1 ko ta. Tanggaling-galing mo, Smart Dishwashing Paste.
Heavy duty limpyo kada pahid. Smart Dishwashing Paste, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified, world-class quality.
ACS.
Bueno, balik kita ngan sige. Ato ni share ha iyo almost amo ini bugos nga pagyakan hanaton na Senate President han iya naging desisyon, and of course an iya mga pagsayod, han iya baga mga hugot, an iya mga caveat, an iya mga pagpahimatngon pahinumdum hatanan ha publiko or han iba pa nga nadadabihan dida ini nga impeachment complaint. Adiman ito nga pagyakan hanaton Senate President Chis Escudero pamatianta.
What lies in here rather is an issue of genuine constitutional material which only the court can properly and competently address and adjudicate in accordance with clear-cut allocation of powers under our system. The claim, therefore, that the court, by judicially entangling itself with the process of impeachment, has effectively set up a regime of judicial supremacy is patently without basis in fact and in law, because it is not at all the business of the court to assert dominance, judicial dominance, over the other two great branches of government. Rather, the raison d'etre of the judiciary is to complement the discharge by the executive and legislative of their own powers to bring about ultimately the beneficent effects of having founded and ordered our society upon the rule of law. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the institution that is the Supreme Court, together with all other courts, has long held and been entrusted with the judicial power to resolve conflicting legal rights regardless of the personalities involved in their suits or actions. The court has dispensed justice over the course of time, unaffected by whomsoever stood to benefit or suffer therefrom, unafraid by whatever imputations or speculations could be made to it, so long as it rendered judgment according to the law and the facts. No one is above the law or the Constitution. This is a basic precept in any legal system which recognizes equality of all men before the law as essential to the law's moral authority and that of its agents to secure respect for and obedience to its commands. Perhaps there is no other government branch or instrumentality that is most zealous in protecting that principle of legal equality other than the Supreme Court, which has discerned in its meaning and ramifications through its application of numerous cases, especially the high-profile kind in the annals of jurisprudence. The Filipino nation and its democratic institutions have no doubt been put to a test once again by this impeachment case. Accordingly, the court resorted to no other than the Constitution in search for a solution to what many feared would ripen to a crisis in government. Sa muli, magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Hindi ko po salita mga sinambit ko na ilang minuto. Yun po ay paraphrase at halos eksaktong quotation ng salita ni dating Justice Conchita Carpio Morales sa Francisco ruling na kinatigan ng mayoriya ng mga miyembro ng Korte Suprema, kabilang na si dating Chief Justice Puno, dating Justice Carpio, dating Justice Ascuna, dating Justice Panganiban. Ano nga ba itong Francisco ruling na pinag-uusapan natin ito? Ano nga ba ang pinagkapareho, pinagkaiba nito sa kasalukuyan nating hinaharap? At bakit ko ba ito tinatanong? Ginoong Pangulo, bahagi ako ng Kongresong nagtangka na i-impeach si dating Chief Justice Davide. Bakit ko sinabing tangka? Dahil pinigilan po kami ng Korte Suprema. In-enjoin at nag-issue ng TRO ang Korte Suprema at ito yung desisyong yun. Francisco, case na palaging sinasite po natin. Ano bang pinagkapareho? Ang aligasyon laban sa nasasakdal noon na si Chief Justice Davide, kaugnay din ng corruption. Daang milyon din. Ang pinag-usapan, initiation of impeachment na dapat sole prerogative din ng Kamara. Ang pinag-usapan, ano bang definisyon ng initiation na dapat sole jurisdiction din ng Kamara? Ang tanong ko po ay simple. Noong mga panahong yun, nasaan po lahat na nagrereklamo ngayon at nagko-question sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema? Yung mga mahistradong nagko-question ngayon na retirado na, bumoto sila pabor doon. Subalit ngayon, tila nag-ibang posisyon. Ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba kung meron man? Klaro ang pinagkaiba. Iba ang pangalan ng nasasakdal. Today, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the very supremacy of the Supreme Court is being called into question, and with it, the very foundation of the rule of law. As Senate President and as a member of this chamber and as a member of the bar, I will not sit idly by and allow this. At stake is the very idea that justice should be governed by laws that apply to all, equally to all, rather than the whims and caprices of public opinion. As Justice Frankfurter once said, if one man can be allowed to determine for himself what is law, every man can. That means first chaos, then tyranny. Legal process is an essential part of democratic process. Whether it's a mob or a minority, bias and prejudice blinds, divides, and destroys. Former U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor also said it best. The law provides necessary continuity amidst our constantly shifting political landscape. It guarantees everyone will be treated equally, whether they are in today's or yesterday's majority, so they know what to expect, whether what they do is popular or unpopular at that time. The courts, Mr. President, with the Supreme Court at the helm, are the guardians of the rule of law, making sure everyone plays by the same rules and receives equal justice. For the rule of law to prevail, the High Court must act as a compass, not as a political cheerleader, impartially applying the law by calling out violations, not swayed by public opinion or political allegiance. Respect for the rule of law, Mr. President, requires all of us to adhere to final or immediately executory decisions of the court, even when there is a winner and a loser, to avoid deadlocks and maintain legal order. Respect for the rule of law does not bar disagreeing with court decisions, nor from forming our own opinions on the meaning and intent and letter of the spirit of the Constitution. However, we must also have the humility to accept when we are wrong once the Supreme Court has already decided. Respecting the court only when you win or when it aligns with your belief is not respect for me. It is plain arrogance, or if at all, a power play. Cherry-picking court rulings destroys the judiciary's purpose. Disobeying the High Court's decision is a violation of the law, because under our Constitution, decisions of the Supreme Court form part of the law of the land. I made these remarks, Mr. President, amidst recent calls for this august body to disregard the Supreme Court's recent ruling in Duterte v. HOR. These calls for judicial disobedience have been aided and abetted by so-called legal luminaries and experts who fancy their wisdom and knowledge of the Constitution as better, higher, more supreme than that of the Supreme Court. Miyembro po ba sila ng Supremist Court? Miyembro po ba sila ng Super Supreme Court? Sa pagkakaalam ko po, iisa lamang ang Korte Suprema. At ayon sa ating konstitusyon, Korte Suprema ang bukod tanging pwedeng makapagsabi kung ano ang kahulugan ng ating saligang batas. Walang iba. Allow me to demonstrate, for example, Mr. President, the legal gymnastics these people have been undertaking. In the past, and I have borne the brunt of this, sabi nila, forthwith ang sinabi sa Senado, ibig sabihin yan agad-agad. Despite the rulings of the Supreme Court that say it is within a reasonable time. Pero doon na tayo sa agad-agad. Sabi ng rules ng House, dapat i-refer ng SecGen immediately sa Speaker. 2 buwan bago niya ginawa yon. Oh, okay lang sa kanila. Hindi naman sila nagreklamo. Immediately po ang gamit, ha? Hindi forthwith. Sabi naman ngayon ng Korte Suprema, immediately executory. Ay, teka lang. Hintayin muna natin. Hindi ba final? Kapag ka-convenienteng gamitin yung mga salita pabor sa posisyon nila, edi okay lang. Kapag ka hindi naman, ay hindi rin. Hindi po ganun dapat yon. Hinihiling nila ngayon sa Senado na ipagpaliban muna ang anumang aksyon para intayin ang anumang desisyon ito kaugnay sa motion for reconsideration na inihain ng Kamara sa Korte Suprema. Subalit tulad ng naipaliwanag na kanina, kaugnay ng motion na pinagbobotohan natin ngayon, kung magbago man ang Korte Suprema sa kanilang desisyon na unanimous noong July 25, 2025, meron pong paraan at proseso pa ang Senado para sundin ang bagong desisyon yan ng Korte Suprema kung sakasakaling mangyayari po yan. In the past, it was also said, nauna nagsalita si Senator Bato, bawal daw at walang karapatan mag-motion ang sino mang senator judge dahil trabaho daw ng depensa yon. Bakit yung mga parehong tao yung pinag-uusapan? Dapat maghain tayo ng motion for reconsideration. Hindi ba trabaho din ng prosecution yon? Hindi naman po pwede na pwede lang pag kayo, hindi na pwede pag iba. Now the prosecution has actually filed a motion for consideration, and rightfully so, and not by this chamber. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, kinondina din ng ilang legal luminaries tulad ng Philconsa na dating pinangunahan ng nanguna sa impeachment complaint na si Speaker Romualdez, ilang taon lamang ang lumilipas, na hindi daw, bagong requirement daw ang due process. Dagdag daw ito. Mr. President, Your Honors, they should read Francisco again. They forgot that lack of due process in the impeachment process had been raised and in fact was specifically mentioned in the separate concurring opinions. And allow me to quote the concurring opinion of Justice Panganiban. The due process clause enshrined in our fundamental law is a condition sine qua non that cannot be ignored in any proceeding, administrative, judicial, or otherwise. It is deemed written into every law, rule, or contract, even though not expressly stated therein. Hence, the House rules on impeachment, insofar as they do not provide the charged official with number 1, notice, and number 2, opportunity to be heard prior to being impeached, are also unconstitutional. Needless to say, the due process limitation on the impeachment process was already discussed in Francisco. May pumalag ba nun? Wala. Yung nagre-reklamo ba ngayon kaugnay sa bagong requirement yung due process, nag-react nung sinulat ito at naging bahagi ng Francisco ruling? Hindi ko rin po napansin. Sinabi din po ng ilang legal luminary, partikular binanggit din ito ni Speaker Romualdez, when the court begins to create rules on how it and other high officials may be impeached, it risks writing the terms of its own immunity. This point was also discussed in Francisco. Ang sabi ng korte nito, illogical ito at non-sequitur. Alalahanin po natin. Hula lamang yung gagamitin din ito pabor sa kanila. Sa kaso ng Francisco, nakaupong Chief Justice ang nasasakdal. Pero sinabi mismo ng korte, hindi bali yan. Hindi namin pinapaboran ang kabaro namin sa pagbaba namin ng desisyong ito. Mr. President, the Constitution establishes a system of checks and balances, not a system of retribution. Threatening the Supreme Court with impeachment simply because one disagrees with the ruling is a dangerous assault on our constitutional order. The Senate, Mr. President, stands ready to uphold the integrity of the Constitution as well as the institutions created under it. My dear colleagues, we are told that to honor the court's ruling is to betray the truth, that by choosing fidelity to the law, we somehow abandon accountability, but nothing for me could be further from the truth. To disregard the ruling would not only defy the Constitution, it would drag the nation into a crisis it can ill afford. It would erode the authority of our laws, embolden those who believe they are above it because they know it all or simply know better. To those seeking to disregard the Supreme Court's decision, I ask these simple questions, Mr. President. Again, in light of the Francisco ruling on former Chief Justice Davide, and it was okay then because they did not want then Chief Justice Davide to be impeached. Are you truly for accountability or simply anti-Duterte? Do you truly respect and want to preserve the Constitution or you simply hate the Vice President? Are you serving the nation's interest or protecting and pursuing your own personal ambitions or agenda? Are you fighting for truth or are you simply after revenge? Do you really want a trial Or do you just want a conviction? Do you really believe that we are wrong? Or do you simply think and feel entitled and believe that you are always right? Fidelity to the Constitution, Mr. President, must prevail even when it is unpopular, inconvenient, or misunderstood. In fact, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it must prevail especially when it is unpopular, when it is inconvenient, and misunderstood. Finally, Mr. President, let today's verdict be a stern and unequivocal warning to anyone who would dare use the Senate for their personal battering ram to further their personal political ambitions. To the House of Representatives, I say, do not allow yourselves to be used for the blind hatred and ambition of a few who did things haphazardly, gravely abused their discretion, and violated due process rights under the Constitution as found by the High Court itself.
So amo ito niton iya baga punto di vista ngan mga pangayat ngan pagpakalma iton katawhan. Mabalik kita kahumanhin pahinumdom.
DYVL Aksyon Radyo Newscast. Ang balitang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified, maker of world-class quality pride detergent.
Ang mga motorista na atubang hinaguti ay nga alibyo samtang nga iton presyohan lana in maiibanan hini nga masakob nga simana. An industry sources nagbanabana imposible nga kada litro nga price rollback hin 40 nga da 60 centimos para iton gasolina, 1.30 nga da 1.50 para iton diesel, nga 1.20 naman para iton kerosene. An estimate nagpapakita iton trading results din ang global oil market dida ang nakalabay nga upat ka adlaw. Ang Department of Energy nagtudlo kan pagdugang han OPEC Plus production nga padayon naman nga waray kapihuan, nagpapalibot iton US tariff policies kung posibleng nga rason dida hini nga adjustment. Oras alas 5:30.
An oras, hatag haiyuhan.
Champion Detergent para less time sa labada, more time sa pamilya.
Aksyon!
Radyo! Champion Detergent para less time sa labada, more time sa pamilya.
Aksyon!
Radyo!
Mamadaming time sa lahat ng gusto nyo. Mamadaming time, Champion Detergent ang gamit ko. Champion na!
Sa Champion Quick Wash Technology, less time sa labada, more time sa pamilya.
Aksyon!
Radyo!
Sali na!
ACS Milyones! ACS Milyones!
Isulat ang inyong pangalan, age, address, contact number at signature sa isang papel. Ilagay sa white legal-sized envelope kasama ang proof of purchase. At sa labas ng envelope, isulat ang promo title, produktong ginamit at ang MBC station. Pwedeng ipadala o ihulog sa drop boxes sa MBC stations nationwide. DZRH, Love Radio, Yes FM, Easy Rock, Aksyon Radyo, and Radyo Natin. Kaya sali na! More than 9 million pesos ang pwedeng mapanalunan sa weekly draws and grand draw. Hatid ng Unique Toothpaste, Pride Detergent, Star Wax Floor Wax, Shield Bath Soap, Smart Dishwashing, White Rose Papaya with Vitamin B3, at Charm Fabcon.
Pwede kang maging milyonaryo sa ACS Milyones!
Submission of entries is from May 4 to September 12, 2025. Grand draw is on September 20, 2025. See posters for details. Promo period is from May 4 to September 12, 2025. For DTI Fair Trade Permit Number FTB 221797, Series of 2025.
Aksyon!
Radyo!
ACS Milyones! ACS Milyones!
Mga misis, bili na kayo ng mga ACS products para may chance maging milyonaryo. Ito ang kombinasyon ng mga empty packs na ilagay sa entries nyo. 3 sachets ng Unique 10ml or 1 box ng Unique Toothpaste any size. 3 sachets ng Pride Powder 40 grams or 1 pouch ng Pride Powder any size. 1 wrapper ng Pride Bar 370 grams or 2 wrappers ng Pride Bar 95 grams. 1 box ng Star Wax Floor Wax size, any size. 1 wrapper or 1 box ng Shield Bath Soap, any size. 2 sachets ng Smart Liquid 50 ml or 1 pouch ng Smart Liquid, any size. 1 label wrapper ng Smart Paste, any size. 1 sachet or 1 box ng White Rose Papaya with Vitamin B3 Soap, any size. 3 sachets of Charm Fabcon 30 ml or 1 pouch ng Charm Fabcon, any size.
Pwede kang maging milyonaryo sa ACS Milyones.
Submission of entries is from May 4 to September 12, 2025. Grand draw is on September 20, 2025. See posters for details. Promo period is from May 4 to September 12, 2025. Per DTI Fair Trade Permit Number FTB 221797, Series of 2025.
Aksyon! Radyo! Si Mommy at si Washing Machine believe sa Pride Washing Machine Detergent.
Hello, Washi!
Hello, Mommy!
Laundry day na naman! Ready ka na sa mancha, chocolate, putik, libag?
Kaya yan ng Pride Washing Machine Detergent. May triple stain-away formula. Tanggal ang makapit, madikit, at malupit na dumit mancha. Easy ang labada.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon.
All you need is pride. All you need is pride.
Pride Detergent, manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified, world-class quality.
ACS.
Bueno, balik kita ngan yon aton nabatian adton sareng paman exhortation. Anaton na Senate President Chis Escudero nganan iya mga ginuhugutan dida ito nga mga pahayag or naging desisyon han pira nga mga senador nganan Senado ha kabugusan. Sige daw la kay adiliwat adton pananaw dida han pipira nga gin sa site ni ni President Senate President Escudero, no? Naghingaday kasi hiya han dati nga naging mga proseso han Korte Suprema nga daing pareho nga kaso impeachment, although magkaiba iton mga punto. Sige, una aton ni i-share ha iyo an interview ni Karen Davila nga dikan Associate Justice Adolfo Ascuna. Adiman adtong baga ira pag Himangraw.
Okay, una-una, Karen, hindi totoo na nag-issue ng TRO ang Supreme Court sa kaso ni Davide. What we did was to issue a resolution calling on all the parties to maintain the status quo. It was an appeal. It was not an order. We could not and we did not want to issue TRO against the House because that would trigger a constitutional crisis. We merely appealed to all the parties, including the House, to maintain the status quo. So there was no TRO. And then pangalawa, yung kaso ni Davide was a case of impeachment under the first mode. And under the first mode, the Constitution requires a hearing. The word hearing appears in the Constitution for the first mode. The present case is different. It is on the second mode, where the complainant is the House itself by 1/3 vote. And in this case, Constitution doesn't say there has to be a hearing. The Supreme Court now says there has to be a hearing. That is rewriting the Constitution, not just the rules. Rewriting the Constitution. In other words, the Supreme Court is saying the Constitution is unconstitutional. Pwede ba yun?
Oo. So para lang sa ating viewers, ang sinasabi po ninyo sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema, ang nangyari ngayon, ang first mode of impeachment, which is yung dadaan ito sa House Justice Committee, magkakaroon doon ng pagdinig, tapos yung pangalawang mode is boboto ka lang where you have a majority of the members of the House, pati yun kailangan na ngayon ng hearing. Pati yun.
Yes, yung pangalawang mode, kailangan na raw ng hearing dahil sa due process.
Oo. So yung nangyari noong panahon ni ERAP, yung viva voce, right? Bumoto sila by voice alone tapos pumirma after. Hindi na pwede yon based on the Supreme Court decision.
Yes, based on the Supreme Court decision, all those previous rulings, previous impeachment cases where there was no notice and hearing, the 7-point ang tibay versus CIR procedural due process rule was not observed, dapat yun ay void din because they're applying it backwards to all previous cases. Contrary to the principle of operative facts, or what Justice Carpio calls the principle of prospective overruling. That would be the effect, in my view, because of the retroactive application of such a decision. But as I said, it will not make any difference because he was removed by people power.
Yeah. Okay. My other question is, you said during the time of the VIDE, the Supreme Court did not issue a TRO, as pointed out by Senate President Cheese Escudero, but a status quo ante-order. So,
no, it's not an order.
Sorry.
It was an appeal.
An appeal.
It was no status quo order.
Okay.
It was an appeal addressed to all the parties to maintain the status quo.
Okay. So, it was an appeal to maintain the status quo.
Yes.
Okay. How did you succeed? How were you able to convince all parties?
Yes, we succeeded because the Speaker, Joe De Venecia, said that I am constrained by this appeal, and therefore I move that we do not send the articles to the Senate. Then he banged the gavel. Session adjourned.
Okay. All right. Now, were you surprised with the results yesterday, with how they voted, or you predicted that?
No, I posted a Facebook that said that their options are either to do nothing, or to proceed with the trial, or to dismiss the articles. And this archiving was like doing nothing. That is waiting for the Supreme Court to finally decide on the motion for reconsideration. So it did not dismiss the case. It did not go to trial. So it is waiting. And to wait, you can archive muna. Tabi muna. Maghintay tayo ng Supreme Court. Pag nag-reverse ang Supreme Court, we will retrieve the archives.
How realistic is it for the Supreme Court to actually reverse its decision?
It is, to my view, perhaps not a very distinct possibility because it's unanimous. But what is important is the listening, that it will listen to all adverse criticism of its decision, so that they will know that there are those who point out factual and constitutional errors and their decision. It's up to them to follow or not. And whatever they decide, let's abide by it, because their final decision is a part of the law.
Amo iton baga pagklaro ni Associate Justice Adolf Ascuna, dida ini nga interview upod kan Karen Davila an iya baga pagklaro liwat kasumpayhan igin papahamtang hanaton na Senate President in a way didahadton ira pagdigon han iya naging desisyon. Other than former Associate Justice Adolf Ascuna, may ada liwat sugad nga pangklaro didi naman ini kan anay Chief Justice Renato Puno ha interview ni Pinky Webb. Amo ito naton kakadtuan mahuman hiton pahinumdom.
Mamadaming time sa lahat ng gusto nyo. Mamadaming time, Champion Detergent ang gamit ko. Champion na!
Sa Champion Quick Wash Technology, less time sa lavada, more time sa pamilya.
At age 50 pataas, posible ang good quality of life kapag tama ang level ng nutrients sa katawan. Piliin ang doctor-prescribed Centrum Silver Advance. Ang kumpletong formula nito ay mahigit sa 25 nutrients na tumutulong sa immunity, healthy heart at sharp memory with proper diet and exercise. Alam niyo ba, ayon sa clinical research, ang pag-inom ng Centrum Silver Advance araw-araw kasama ang tamang pagkain at exercise ay nakatutulong sa memory habang tumatanda. Napapanatiling matalas ang isip, malinaw ang memorya at maayos na nakaka-focus. Ang mga nasa edad 50 pataas ay matutulungang magkaroon magkaroon ng good quality of life kung iinom sila ng Centrum Silver Advance kasabay ng tamang pagkain at exercise. Take Centrum Silver Advance daily. Ito ang Medifacts for Centrum. Multivitamins plus minerals is a generic name of Centrum Silver Advance. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Centrum Silver Advance. May nutrients adjusted for age 50+. Tulong para malakas ang resistensya, may healthy heart at sharp memory. The number 1 multivitamins for age 50+.
Charm Fabric Conditioner with Bloom Fresh Technology. May antibacterial na at ka-bloom sa bango ang damit.
Charm Fab Gold, bangkit makabloom sa charm. Walang amoy kulong, kahit sampay sa loob. Bangkong makabloom sa charm.
Charm Fabric Conditioner. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Waray! Diri! Ubo nga may plema? Pag Myra Cough na. Ang Myra Cough, mahumok ang matigang nga plema. Hapresyo nga afford pa.
Myra Cough.
Unilab yan.
Ambroxol hydrochloride is the generic name of Myra Cough. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Myra Cough. Sa Myra Cough, lalabnaw ang madikit na plema. Afford pa.
Balik kita nga naadi mga nito nga interview ni Pinky Webb didikan anay Chief Justice Renato Puno.
The Supreme Court may have jurisdiction over the case. But the matter of timing its interference is another question. You will remember that these two cases have been pending with the Supreme Court for quite a long time. And the Supreme Court did not issue any restraining order to prevent the case from going to the Senate impeachment court. And at the time the Supreme Court decided to assume jurisdiction, the same issue, whether or not there was a violation of the one-year rule, was already also for consideration of the Senate impeachment court. The question is the timing proper? Again, you know, some may say the timing is right, the others may contradict. But
what do you think of the timing?
Personally, I would have let the Senate impeachment court resolve the issue. After all, the party that feels prejudiced by the ruling can always go up to the Supreme Court on a question of law.
Oral arguments. The follow-up question to that, CJ. Should the Supreme Court at least have called for oral arguments since the two petitions were lodged before them sometime second week of February?
These two cases are what we describe as transcendental cases. The ruling affects the principal architecture, design of the Constitution, separation of powers, checks and balances, political issues. And normally, the court would call for oral arguments on these cases of such a magnitude. Not only call for oral arguments, but the practice is for the court to solicit the opinions of experts, the amicus curiae, and sometimes they solicit these opinions not only on the part of one expert, but on the part of several experts, so that the various dimensions of the case would really be brought to the Supreme Court for their consideration. And they call for oral arguments, especially when the facts are highly contentious.
Do you think that the Supreme Court erred in not calling for oral arguments?
In a sense, yes. And the reason for that is the criticism that the court now faces. And one such criticism is the question about the correctness of their findings of facts. If perhaps there was an oral argument, this criticism could have been avoided.
When you have all former Chief Justices and former members of the judiciary saying that there should have been an oral argument, do you think this will open up the minds of the present justices in the Supreme Court to actually call for an oral argument?
I would say that if the court would call for an oral argument, these various issues, especially the factual issues, would be established better. And if these factual findings are weighed on the basis of the contentions of the opposing parties, the decision would be better appreciated and accepted by the public.
Before we go to the statement of Philconsa, I also wanted to ask you this. I talked about it briefly a while ago, but I wanted to rephrase the question. Should have there been what they call a judicial restraint by the SC on this issue?
I would proffer the view, and this view is shared by the other justices, and by most of the academicians, especially those teaching constitutional law. The view is that on the substantive aspect of the case, I mean, especially that part of the decision that impose 7 new conditions. The court should not only exercise restraint. That is the part which is the political process of the impeachment process. And that political part means that the court should inhibit from interfering with the decision, with the conduct, with the action of the House. And that is very clear from Article 11, Section 3, that vests in the House the exclusive power to initiate the impeachment process. So textually, you can see from the Constitution that this power was clearly vested in the House of Representatives by the use of that word exclusive. That immediately eliminates the possibility of intervention by any branch of government, including the judiciary. Exclusive means that the power cannot be shared. It's that simple.
It's vested in the House of Representatives.
Yes.
What do you say to the part of the ruling of the Supreme Court, especially by the Ponente, wherein it said that the end does not justify the means?
I do not know whether that is an appropriate principle to use. traditional rule in interpreting the Constitution is the holistic process, whereby you balance all the principal values embedded in the Constitution. And in these two cases, what the court should have considered is first the provision of the Constitution on accountability. The provision of the Constitution that says a public office is a public trust. And if you look at the debates in the Constitutional Commission, you know, the commissioners there saw to it that this value is given primary importance. And that is the reason why they made it easier to impeach public officials on the matter of the votes necessary. In the prior constitutions, it was more difficult to impeach public officials. But in the 87 Constitution, the commissioners thought that given the evil of corruption, they thought that this value of accountability should be given primacy.
There. And at last word, they thought that this value of accountability should be given primacy. Sering pa naton reaktor, na akong ginasite, pagtikang, hininga aton istorya, ang Korte Suprema, haya pagkita mas naghatagin bugat, ngadton technicalities kontra, han pagin magbaraton, hinusang opisyal ang gobyerno, han pagtuman niya, han niya mga responsibilidad. Halarom, ini nga istoryahon, pero ako maaram ako in my heart that kada Pilipino may ada manta pagsantop nga na makakapurot hiton igo nga mga pagturunan, dida hini nga istoryahon. Panahon, hiton naton papanmaton or pag-expect hiton serbisyo o trabaho, hiton aton mga natuinan han gobyerno. Para aton, ultimo, adton na magserbisyo ha gobyerno, bagabagay ton hirahin nato biyan gihapon. Hin kaparte, hiton era mga katungod, kay aada hira, hin turumanon nga waray iba, nga angay paghuna-hunaon, kundi an pakaupayhan kadamaan. Kun may pag-question hito dida, obligado gud unta itira angay, magsasayod, magbabaton, magklaklaro, dida hito nga mga pakiana. Tubtuban sunod nga higayon. Pwede dito naton katugbang ha engineering, ako'y Louie Quebec, maupay nga gabi, hayo nga tanan.
Iyo hinbatian ang programa Hiruhimangraw la. Ang taramdan parahan iyo hay nga kakurulpon. Panungdong bulik kay ni Sangkay. Salit tugtubiton sunod nga gayon hiton aton programa. Pagkirita kita din ha Hiruhimangraw la.